You are likely overpaying for your tropical vacations while missing out on a country that has world-class surfing and untouched rainforests with zero crowds. Most people think of this place and only imagine a difficult past, but they are missing the most vibrant and resilient spirit in all of West Africa. Liberia is actually Africa's oldest republic, and it has a connection to the United States that you can see in everything from the flag to the street names. It is a place where you can stand on a beach alone at sunrise and then get lost in a massive, colorful market by noon. If you want a travel experience that feels like a real adventure and not a guided tour through a gift shop, you need to see what is happening here. We are going to look at 20 incredible things to do that will completely change how you see this part of the world. Let us start right in the heart of the action, in the capital city of Monrovia. Your first stop has to be the Liberian National Museum, because you cannot understand where the country is going until you see where it started. Inside this old colonial building, you will find tribal masks that look like they are staring into your soul, and documents signed by the founding fathers. It is a bit dusty and quiet, but the stories of the indigenous tribes and the settlers who returned from America are told through these artifacts. Just a short distance from the museum is a place called Providence Island, which is essentially the birthplace of modern Liberia. This is the exact spot where the first ship of freed American slaves landed back in 1822 to start a new life. Standing on that ground feels heavy with history, especially when you think about the courage it took to cross the ocean toward an unknown future. The island is small, but it serves as a massive symbol of freedom and the complicated ties between Africa and the West. Now, if you want to see the city from a different perspective, you have to hike up to the ruins of the Ducor Palace Hotel. Back in the day, this was one of the only five-star hotels in all of Africa, hosting presidents, movie stars, and world leaders. Now it is a haunting concrete skeleton covered in graffiti, but it still has the best panoramic views of Monrovia and the Atlantic Ocean. You can walk through the empty swimming pool, where elites used to lounge, and imagine the music that once filled the grand ballrooms. It is a bit of a climb, and you might have to tip a local guide a few dollars to let you in, but the sunset from the roof is unbeatable. After you have seen the city from above, it is time to get right into the thick of it at the waterside market. This is not a place for the faint of heart, because it is a massive, crowded labyrinth of energy and noise. You will find everything here from bright African wax prints and handmade sandals to piles of spicy peppers and fresh ginger. The smells of smoked fish and gasoline mix in the air, and the sound of people bargaining is like a constant drumbeat. It is chaotic, but it is also the best place to see the hustle and human spirit that keeps the city running every single day. For a bit of a break from the noise, you can head over to the Centennial Pavilion. This is a grand white building used for presidential inaugurations, and it is a monument to the country's political journey. It feels very formal and dignified, standing in sharp contrast to the wild energy of the street markets just blocks away. While you are in the downtown area, take a slow walk down Broad Street to see the commercial heart of the country. You will see old-fashioned colonial buildings standing right next to modern glass offices and busy banks. It is the best place to watch the pen-pens, which are the local motorbike taxis, zip through traffic like tiny metallic bees. The city is great, but Liberia's true magic is found along the coast, starting with a town called Robertsport. If you are a surfer, or if you just like looking at the ocean, Robertsport is basically the holy grail of West Africa. It has 5 main point breaks that create long, peeling waves that you can ride for what feels like miles. The best part is that there are no lines and no crowds, just you and the vast blue water of the Atlantic. The town itself is a sleepy fishing village where the people are incredibly welcoming and the beer is always cold. While you are walking along the shore in Robertsport, you will likely stumble upon several massive shipwrecks. These rusted giants sit right in the sand, slowly being reclaimed by the ocean and the salt air. They look like something out of a post-apocalyptic movie, providing a strange and beautiful backdrop for photos. If you want a beach day that is a little closer to the capital, Silver Beach is where the locals go on the weekends. It is a perfect spot to sit under a palm tree with a plate of grilled fish and watch the waves roll in. The sand is clean, the water is warm, and the vibe is all about relaxing after a long week of work. For those who want a bit more luxury while staying eco-friendly, you have to check out La Bassa Eco Lodge. It is tucked away in the forest near the sea and features beautiful wooden huts and a series of swimming lagoons. They also have a wildlife sanctuary on site where they rescue animals that have been injured or kept as illegal pets. You can see pangolins, monkeys, and colorful birds while knowing your money is going toward conservation. Speaking of animals, one of the most unique experiences in the country is taking a boat tour through the Marshall mangroves. The water is calm and dark, reflecting the tangled roots of the trees that line the riverbanks. It feels like you are entering a different world where time has slowed down, and the only sound is the dipping of the oars. Deep in these mangroves, you will find what the locals call Monkey Island. This is a series of islands that serve as a sanctuary for chimpanzees that were once part of a research lab. You cannot step onto the islands because the chimps are very territorial, but you can watch them from the boat. Seeing these massive, intelligent animals swinging through the trees and calling out to each other is a powerful experience. But here is a problem many travelers face when they think about visiting a place like this. They worry that the infrastructure will be too difficult or that the nature is too wild to actually enjoy. The truth is that Liberia is wild, but that is exactly why it is so rewarding for those who make the effort. If you want to see what the world looked like before we paved everything over, you have to go to Sapo National Park. This is one of the last primary rainforests in all of West Africa, and it is incredibly dense and green. There are no paved roads here, and you will likely need a 4x4 and a very good guide to get around. But once you are inside, you are in the home of the rare pygmy hippo, an animal you won't find almost anywhere else. These hippos are much smaller than their famous cousins, and they hide deep in the forest near the water. You might also see forest elephants, which are smaller and more elusive than the ones you see on the savanna. The air in Sapo is thick with moisture and the sound of thousands of different insects and birds. It is a place that reminds you just how small humans are compared to the power of the natural world. If you like heights, you should head to the Mount Nimba Strict Nature Reserve on the border with Guinea and Ivory Coast. This is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it is famous for its unique mountain scenery and grassy plateaus. The hiking here is intense, but the reward is seeing plants and animals that exist nowhere else on the planet. For something a bit more relaxing, Lake Piso is a massive tidal lagoon that feels more like an inland sea. It is the largest lake in Liberia, and it is surrounded by forested hills and small fishing villages. You can spend a whole day birdwatching or just drifting on the water as the sun goes down. If you are looking for a hidden gem in the interior of the country, find your way to the Patawi waterfalls. These falls are located in Bong County, and they are the perfect spot for a picnic and a refreshing swim. The water cascades down dark rocks into a cool pool that is surrounded by lush, overhanging ferns. It is a favorite spot for local families, and it has a very peaceful, joyful energy. Another strange and beautiful sight is the Blue Lake in Bomi County. This lake was actually formed in an old iron ore mine that filled up with water over many years. The water is a stunning, deep turquoise blue that looks almost artificial because it is so clear. It is surrounded by tall cliffs and is a popular spot for people looking to escape the heat of the city. Now, you cannot talk about Liberia without mentioning the Firestone Rubber Plantation. This is one of the biggest rubber plantations in the world, and it covers a massive amount of land. Driving through the endless rows of rubber trees is a surreal experience because everything looks so symmetrical. You can see the small cups attached to the trees to catch the white latex as it drips out of the bark. It is a huge part of the country's industrial history and shows the scale of the international trade that happens here. If you want to see a different side of history, visit the town of Carisburg. This town was founded by settlers, and it still has many houses built in the style of the American South from the 1800s. It feels like a strange time capsule where the architecture tells the story of people trying to recreate a home in a new land. As you travel through the rural areas, keep an eye out for traditional craft villages. You can watch master carvers turn pieces of wood into intricate masks or see weavers creating country cloth. This cloth is heavy and beautiful, often made on small looms and dyed with natural colors from plants. Each pattern often has a specific meaning or tells a story about the family that made it. If you are a bird lover, the Gola Forest National Park is another must-visit spot on the border. It is part of a massive conservation project that protects the habitat of hundreds of different species. After all that exploring, you are going to be hungry, and Liberian food is something you will never forget. You have to try check rice, which is rice cooked with greens and served with a spicy gravy. Another staple is cassava leaf, a thick, savory stew made from the leaves of the cassava plant and lots of meat or fish. It is usually very spicy, so make sure you have a cold soda or some water nearby. The local jollof rice is also a point of pride, and everyone will tell you that their mother makes it the best. To get the freshest ingredients, stop by the fish market in the Sinker neighborhood of Monrovia. You can watch the colorful wooden boats come in through the surf and unload the daily catch. You can buy a whole snapper or grouper and have someone grill it for you right there on the beach. The taste of fresh fish with lime and hot pepper while the ocean breeze hits your face is the definition of a good day. When the sun goes down, Sinker is also the place to be for the best nightlife. Liberians love to dance, and the bars are often filled with the sounds of highlife and Afrobeat music. The energy is infectious, and it doesn't matter if you know the moves or not. People will want you to join in. Now, if you are planning to go, the best time to visit is during the dry season, from December to April. If you go during the rainy season, the roads can turn into rivers of mud, and getting around becomes a real challenge. Speaking of getting around, you will likely find yourself on a pen for short trips in the city. Just make sure you hold on tight and wear a helmet, because the drivers are very brave and very fast. For long trips into the countryside, you should definitely hire a 4x4 vehicle with a driver who knows the terrain. Liberia is not a place where you go to sit in a resort and be served drinks all day. It is a place where you go to see the strength of people who have built a beautiful life despite many challenges. The hospitality you will find here is genuine and warm, and people are truly happy to show you their country. It is a place that stays in your heart long after you have washed the red dust off your shoes. If you want more travel ideas that take you off the beaten path, click the video on the screen right now.